State prosecutors in Manhattan are seeking the cooperation of a confidant of former President Trump in one of the most high-profile criminal investigations in history. The Wall Street Journal was the first to report that prosecutors have subpoenaed the records of a private school on the Upper West Side where grandchildren of Trump Organization CFO Allen Weisselberg are students. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has been attempting to gain Weisselberg's cooperation in the case for months now. So for more on this, let us bring in CBS News investigative reporter Graham Cates. Graham, this is a really interesting story, and I had to sort of read it slowly to get what's going on here. So what more can you tell us about Weisselberg and his relationship with the former president to start things off?
Allen Weisselberg is really, really important to the investigation into the president and into the Trump Organization. Simply because he's been part of the Trump Organization for so long. In fact, so long that he started there before it was actually called the Trump Organization and before Donald Trump even ran it. And then he was by Donald Trump's side really as his right-hand man in terms of finance at the company for decades. Going back, Allen Weisselberg started there in the 70s. Donald Trump went on to lead the company beginning in roughly the 80s. And he's been the CFO for about 20 years as well. And so if you're going to investigate any potential crimes that stem from whether it's the Trump Organization or, frankly, Donald Trump prior to when he became president, you really would like to talk to Allen Weisselberg. And that's what a lot of this is about, is attempting to get his cooperation in their rather wide-ranging probe.
So then enter this private school, the Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School, where Weisselberg's grandchildren are students. So tell us why investigators are looking into possible fringe benefits, perhaps, that he may have received connected to this private school.
Well, Allen's son, Barry, is also a Trump Organization employee. And Barry's children are the ones who attend this school. And Barry's lifestyle is filled with things that are paid for either by Allen or by the Trump Organization. And for a long time, it's been that way, whether it's been apartments, this private school, really expensive camps that the kids go to, cars and other things. And one of the things that prosecutors are trying to get to the bottom of is have Allen and Barry and the Trump Organization and Donald Trump himself been upfront with the tax liabilities for all of these things that whether it's Allen or Barry or other members of the Weisselberg family have received as employees of the Trump Organization? Have they been getting things as, like a grandfather paying for his grandkids is one thing, but if it's a benefit of your employment, that's a whole other thing. And so that's right. One of the things they're trying to get to the bottom of by subpoenaing the school, reportedly, was the school paid for by Donald Trump himself, which has been one of the things that's been said, or was it paid for by Allen? And again, was it paid for as part of his income for working for the Trump Organization?
Right. And, people will be like, school tuition? I mean, come on, it's expensive. But really, so we're talking about, maybe like $500,000, like $500,000, I think is the round figure that I saw in one of the reports. So it can be it can certainly be, if that's the case, an awful lot of money being kind of hidden a little bit. You previously reported on Weisselberg's former daughter-in-law. She said that she had boxes and boxes of financial documents after her divorce from Weisselberg's son. Remind us what role she had to play and where has her cooperation brought the investigation thus far?
Well, this is really fascinating. I mean, we're talking about as you said, one of the most historic criminal investigations in history. And at the center of it is this divorce case. And the reason this is at the center of this criminal investigation is because when the two sides were being deposed for this divorce, and it's a tremendously fraught divorce case, and they had to go really into granular detail about who paid for what throughout their lives. And Barry ends up talking about a lot of the things that were paid for either by the Trump Organization or Allen Weisselberg as part of his depositions in the case. And Jennifer ends up collecting through discovery in the case really a ton of information about Barry's and in some cases Allen's financial histories and the way that they keep money in different bank accounts. And so ultimately, a lot of this information ends up getting subpoenaed by the grand jury in the case because it's one of the most insightful looks you can get into the Weisselberg family's finances and perhaps the way that high-level employees of the Trump organization are compensated or at least receive perks.
It's really interesting. Has Mr. Trump at all commented on this investigation?
Not recently, but of course in the past he's referred to it as a witch hunt, and he's kind of implied that it's without merit. But again, this is a case. This investigation has been going back since 2018. It was long stalled while he was president. He was trying to keep it from happening. It went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ultimately allowed the Manhattan DA to get access to his taxes, and that was just this year, and it's really started moving quickly since then.
Well, it should be interesting. Interesting story to cover, Graham. Thank you so much.
Thank you.